On a dusty road outside Jerusalem, a figure wrapped in tattered rags knelt alone. The leper's face bore the marks of years in isolation, his voice hoarse from disuse. As Jesus approached, the crowd recoiled, but Christ stretched out his hand without hesitation. "Be clean," he spoke, and in that moment disease fled before divine compassion. The man's gasp echoed through the silent crowd as he examined his unblemished skin, tears cutting paths through years of accumulated dust. The wails of mourners filled the cramped house as Jesus pushed through the crowd. A pale 12-year-old girl lay motionless on her bed, her small hands already growing cold. When Christ took her limp fingers in his, the professional mourners laughed at his declaration that she was merely sleeping. Then, a gasp, color returning to cheeks. The girl's eyelids fluttering as she sat up, her first bewildered gaze meeting the eyes of the one who conquered death with a touch. Dust swirled around the woman's bare feet as she trembled before the angry mob. The Pharisees' stones hovered ready when Jesus knelt to write in the dirt. His finger traced words that made accusers drop their weapons and slink away. Then he stood, not with condemnation but with outstretched hand. "Neither do I condemn you," he said, lifting her chin until her tear-filled eyes met his. In that touch, she found not pardon alone, but the courage to go and sin no more. Galilee's waves swallowed Peter whole the moment his faith wavered. Salt water filled his mouth as he flailed beneath the storm. Then, a strong grip on his wrist. Jesus' calloused fisherman's hand locked onto him with impossible strength. As Christ pulled him up, Peter saw the amused love in his teacher's eyes. "You have little faith," Jesus said, not scolding but celebrating, for even sinking disciples are worth rescaling. The blind man startled at the unexpected coolness of mud on his eyelids. Jesus' hands, rough from travel yet gentle in application, pressed the clay mixture over useless eyes. "Go wash," came the instruction. At Siloam's pool, water rinsed away both mud and darkness. His first sight? Rippling water reflecting sunlight, and the distant figure of the rabbi who made paste from dirt and gave light with a touch. The upper room grew silent as Jesus dipped bread and extended it toward Judas. The disciples didn't understand, but Judas did. Christ's fingers brushed his as he offered the morsel, eyes conveying heartbreaking knowledge. This was no public exposure, but a final private offer of grace. Even as Satan entered Judas's heart, the Savior's hand remained open, moist bread sticking to traitorous fingers like undeserved mercy. Moonlight revealed 3 slumped forms beneath Gethsemane's ancient olives. Jesus' bloody sweat still glistened on his face as he returned to find his closest friends asleep. Yet his touch on Peter's shoulder held no rebuke, only tender understanding. "Could you not watch 1 hour?" he whispered, knowing soon these same hands that woke them would be nailed still, so theirs could remain free. Chaos erupted as soldiers seized Jesus. Peter's sword flashed, severing Malchus's ear. Then, a hand touched the bleeding servant. Jesus' fingers pressed against the wound, stopping both blood flow and violence. "No more of this," he commanded. The high priest's servant felt cartilage reform under that surprising touch, the last healing before the healer submitted to wounds of his own. Iron spikes tore through flesh as the hammer fell. Yet those pierced hands, once so active in healing, now moved voluntarily upon the cross. Blood dripped onto Roman wood as fingers stretched upward in prayer. "Father, forgive them." Even in agony, his hands remained instruments of grace. The same hands that formed Adam from dust, now redeeming humanity through their own destruction. Thomas's trembling finger hovered near the scar. 1 week after the resurrection, the doubting disciple stood face to face with living proof. "Put your finger here," Jesus invited, pulling aside his robe to reveal the wound. As Thomas's hand met the mark, his knees buckled. "My Lord and my God," he cried. The resurrected hand that guided his touch now lifted his chin, transforming doubt into the most personal confession of faith.